Rectilinear figures. A rectilinear figure is a compound shape or two shapes that have been combined together. In this example, we have rectangles that have been squished to form one shape. And I want to find the area of the entire thing, so I'm going to use the distributive property to help me break it into two smaller pieces. First off, I see that I have missing sides, so I want to find those missing side lengths before I begin breaking my shape down. I'm going to trace my vertical sides first. I have 8, 2, and blank. Your two smaller sides are going to add to give you your longest side. Since 8 is the longest line, I know that 2 plus blank equals 8, and I know that that is going to be 6. I'm going to do the same thing and trace my horizontal side lengths. I have 4, blank, and 10. My two smaller side lengths are going to add to give me my longest. So 4 plus blank equals 10. And I know that that side is going to be 6. Now is when I'm going to use the distributive property to break this rectangle into two smaller sections. I'm going to draw this horizontal line going across. I could have drawn one going vertically down at this point, but I chose not to. There is not one way to do this. So since I drew this line going horizontally, I have now cut this line that 8 belonged to. So I can no longer use that 8 to find the area of my two figures. I'm going to focus on that top rectangle. The left and right hand side need to have a measurement. On the left side, there is nothing there because I can no longer use that 8 since I split up that side length when I split up my shape. I'm going to need to use that number 2, so I want to circle that number. Looking at the top and bottom of that rectangle, I see that 4 is going to be my other side length. So I would write 2 times 4 in parentheses because that's only part of my entire figure. Now looking at your bottom rectangle, again, I cannot use that 8 for my side length. So 6 is going to be my measurement for the left and right hand side. And I have 10 on the bottom of that rectangle and I have a 6 at the top. Since this 6 only talks about this little bitty section and not the entire length of the top of that rectangle, I cannot use that number 6. I'm going to circle that 10 because it does stretch across the entire bottom length of that rectangle. I'm going to multiply those two side lengths, 6 times 10, to find the area of that bottom rectangle. And now I'm going to, if I want to combine those two rectangles back together to find the total area of my original shape, I would need to add them. And now you can see how the distributive property equation comes into play here. So 2 times 4 would be 8. 6 times 10 would be 60. And 8 plus 60 would be 68 square units. For this example, again, I want to find all of my missing side lengths before I split my figure into two pieces. I'm going to outline my vertical side lengths first. I have 7, 1, and blank. My longest side this time is blank, so I can take my two smaller side lengths and add them together. 7 plus 1 equals 8. And now I'm going to trace my horizontal side lengths. 5 plus blank equals 12 because 12 is my longest side. So my other number is going to be 7. And now I can split my shape into two pieces. I'm going to start at this corner and drag my line straight down and look for my side lengths now. So on this left-hand rectangle, my left and right-hand side would be that 7. In the top of this rectangle says 7, and the bottom, that number 12 is down there. But when I drew this line, I have now split the line that the 12 belonged to, so I can no longer use that number 12 since I cut it earlier. So the top number for this rectangle would be 7. And the area for the left-hand rectangle would be 7 times 7. Now for that right-hand rectangle, the left and right-hand side is going to be 8 because that 8 stretches across the length of the whole shape. And the top would be 5, and the bottom is also going to be 5 because remember, I can no longer use that number 12. So my area would be 8 times 5. And to combine those two rectangles together at the end to find the total area, I would need to add. And on this example, again, find your missing side links first. Outline those vertical lines, 2 and 7, and blank. I know that 2 plus 7 is going to add to give me this longest line over here, which would be 9. I want to next outline my horizontal lines. 3 plus blank equals 13. That missing side link would be 10. And again, I want to split up my rectangles into 2 pieces. I'm going to take my pen at this corner and I'm going to choose to draw straight down. Since I am splitting that line that 13 belonged to, I can no longer use it for any of my side links. That left-hand rectangle is now going to be 2 times 10. And my rectangle on the right-hand side, I see that I'm going to use a 3 at the top. And since this 9 is talking about the length of the entire rectangle, I would also use that number. So 3 times 9. And I would add those two rectangles together to find the entire area for my original shape.